Right. Okay. So, sorry about that. A few minor technical difficulties. I have I've had to change the stream to a different link, but it's all good. Okay. So, so let's see. We are getting more people in. So let's start. All right. So I'm going to start with who I am. Okay, I'm NJ Ogilvy. You'll know that from the videos. And yes, this is me unscripted, so a little more hesitant than normally. I started Dear Mr. President, it's a blog. I started that just after they announced the extension of the cigarette ban to level 4. Basically, it's as a way of getting our thoughts our thoughts to the president. I honestly thought that we would have a listening government, as they say that we are. It's turned out that our government doesn't care, clearly. So I started Dear Mr. President, and I posted an open letter to Facebook, where I basically laid out that, as someone who suffers from mental illness, I have bipolar. As I was saying, as someone who suffers from mental illness, I use cigarettes to keep myself going, and it's just I couldn't understand why the government would do what they're doing to us. I sent off the open letter to the presidency's hotline, and got a automated response saying, sorry, they don't give a shit. There's no one is attending to these messages until after the lockdown. So yeah, that was our that was my attempt at actually getting hold of the president. We then decided to move into videos because when they decided to extend the lockdown, the cigarette ban into level 3, and then started fighting us in court on this, I realized that this is going to be an uphill battle. So we decided to move into videos, and then Friday happened. I am absolutely gobsmacked as to why the courts ruled the way they did. It makes absolutely no sense. So now, like I said in my video from yesterday, now more than ever, we need to actually take the government to task. They are not really worried about the voice of the people. They couldn't care. So we now need to take this to our basically the steps of government, because either way, that way we're not actually going to, unless we have something where we are in their face, where they cannot ignore us, we are going to get nowhere. Okay, so I've gotten a few questions over the past few days, and I'm going to work through them. I have Janine on the other side of Joburg, busy feeding me questions. So yes, I think we can get into the first question. And are you right? Hold on. So yeah. As for one of the questions I have got is, what are we demanding? Well, basically the idea is we are wanting to engage with smokers, with South Africans, and basically find out where they stand on this whole on the cigarette ban. What do they want? Because nobody seems to care what the ordinary South Africans are looking for, are wanting during this lockdown. Yes, we understand that the lockdown was necessary. We definitely understand that. Nobody's arguing that the lockdown was ill-advised. We are sitting with over, I think, 100,000 cases now of COVID-19, and over 2,000 dead. So the lockdown was definitely necessary, but how they've gone about it, how the way they've gone about the engaging with the public, it doesn't make sense. So we are going to engage with the public over the next 2 or 3 days. All right. So why should non-smokers care about? Okay, yeah. Right. So, question in the chat: why should non-smokers care about the protest? The thing we need to understand is that this is not just about cigarettes. Like I said, I think it was yesterday's post, this has gone way beyond cigarettes and way beyond smoking. We're now sitting in a situation where the government it's becoming brazen. They can go ahead with pretty much do whatever they want. There was an article in, I think it was the business, I think it was on Business Tech, where they basically said that people can pretty much do whatever they want. The government can pretty much do whatever they want now. They have been given a free license, even if it's not necessarily in our best interests, even if it's not necessarily fair. They can still go ahead with and do and implement restrictions and rules and laws without any consequence to us or consideration to us. And so non-smokers need to understand that they've gone after cigarettes, yes, and nobody. I'm a smoker, okay. Nobody is arguing that cigarettes are good for you. No one is saying that. What they are saying is, what we are saying is that it's our choice. If they want to implement more stringent laws where we can only smoke at home, that's fine. But if they're going to infringe on our freedoms, okay, the right to smoke is not a right. Okay, let's be honest here. We don't have a right to smoke. We do have we do have freedom of choice, and that's where it comes in. It's actually about freedom of choice. We have had our choices taken away from us, and if we let the government get away with that, how soon before they start taking away other freedoms? The freedom to associate with whoever we want, the freedom to live wherever we want, the freedom to vote for whoever we want. These are things that we need to pay attention to, that it could get very, very, very unpleasant if we allow them, if we give them that first inch. Okay. Another question. I'm scared of COVID. Do I need to take part in the protest in person? No, that's the thing is, we're organizing the protest that, yes, we're going to have various venues around the country. Yes, you can go to these to an actual protest. We do need to understand that there is that they do have restrictions on the amount of people allowed in a group. So, but people are also they have a right to be scared. It's understandable that they are scared. And so, if you want to only check in online, because we've created a whole bunch of Facebook events, and you can basically check in online and on the event. You don't actually have to be there. All you need to do is just make your presence known, saying, "I support this." So if you do want to come out, you do want to make yourself visible. That's excellent. But if you're scared, if you have comorbidities, diabetes, I think it's high blood pressure, and any of these things, TB, these are all really real concerns that you need to look after your own health first. So we don't expect you to actually come out if you are at greater risk, but at least show us your support by checking into the event online. Okay. There are a number of protests being planned by different groups. How is yours different? And should we show support to those other protests? Absolutely, we should show. First of all, let me deal with the second part. Absolutely, we need to show our support for the other protests. The more people we can get involved, the more people we can get constantly, every single day, saying, "No more. This is enough. We need to work on this. We need to. This needs to come to an end." The more we can get that, and let's approach different take different approaches on how we protest. Our protest, we're looking for a peaceful protest, a peaceful protest gathering. We're not going to march. We are basically just the idea is to arrive there and make our presence known, not necessarily run around and break shit. Okay, that's definitely not what we want to do. We are going to insist on social distancing. Right? Keep 1.5 meters between you and the person next to you. Make sure you're wearing your mask. Don't hold hands and hug and get up close and personal with each other. There needs to be that social distancing. But we want a peaceful demonstration. In South Africa, violent protests have become very commonplace. They've lost their efficacy. Having people march down the road and then all of a sudden a protest march turns into a protest riot, and the whole of South Africa goes, "Oh, they're rioting again," and it doesn't actually have the same impact. If we just arrive and make our presence known and say, we're here, we are in support of ending the ban. You say that there are people that are wanting, who are wanting to keep the ban going. Well, where are they? We're here. This is us. So yes, so absolutely support the other bans, but the other protests, but support all the protests. Right. So why did they unban alcohol? Because it's bad for you too. You have less compartmentals to social distance, and drink are also shared. That's a very, very good question. Why did they unban alcohol and not cigarettes? That is a question that has not been answered by answered conclusively, if I can put it that way, by the government. And that is one of the things that we will be putting into our demands is why do they did they unban alcohol, which is more dangerous? Nobody has ever crashed their car because they smoked too many cigarettes. Nobody has ever gotten into a fight because they've had too many cigarettes. They've gotten into a fight because they haven't had enough cigarettes. That's a totally different story. And an argument could be made that gender-based violence and domestic violence is even more prevalent now with people running out of cigarettes, and the government is totally ignoring this. And this is one thing that we want to actually get the government to actually give us a definitive answer on. So yes, I can't answer that question, but we will be. That is a question that we will be insisting government give us a definitive answer on. All right. Do you think these protestings are going to work? To be honest, I don't know. I honestly don't know. We hope that the protests will, because we are visible, there will be some notice taken by the government, but I can't say. What I can say is, let's try anyway. Okay. What are you doing to get the country to be aware and supportive of this cause? I have been between myself and my sister, we've been posting on Facebook, and we need people to get involved. We need people in the various cities and towns around the country to join us and help us coordinate demonstrations there in their town or city. We have set up a whole bunch of Facebook events for where we're wanting people to congregate, and it would be really great if we could get someone in, for example, Mossel Bay, to say, okay, fine, I'll coordinate the gathering at the Mossel Bay Town Hall, or someone in Bloemfontein who said, I'll coordinate the gathering at the Supreme Court of Appeals. If you are wanting to get involved and you are willing to help us out, please join the Facebook group. It's facebook.com/group/smokers protests. Join the group. There will also be a link in the description. I'll put that in afterwards. And just let us know that, okay, listen, I'm happy to help out with a protest in my area. Okay. Is this protest legal? Okay, well, here's the funny thing. Hold on, let me just get to the exact where is it now? Here we are. According to the Section 17 of the South African Constitution, the right to protest is guaranteed. Okay. Everyone has, it says in the regulations of Gatherings Act 2005 of 1993, everyone has the right, peacefully and unarmed, to assemble, to demonstrate, to picket, and to present petitions. Okay, so government saying, oh, it's an illegal protest. There's no such thing in this country as an illegal protest. Any protest in South Africa is legal, provided it is non-violent, and the protesters arrive unarmed. And the only requirement, and it's not really a requirement because that was challenged in the Constitutional Court, but the only stipulation is that we need to let the relevant authorities know. So we will be getting hold of the police in the areas where we are going to be having actual demonstrations, and we will let them know, listen, this is going ahead. That they will send personnel out to maintain law and order. Don't the idea is not to actually antagonize or become aggressive with the police. They're basically there to look out or make sure that things don't get out of hand. And like I said, I want this to be a peaceful protest. I don't want this to turn into a riot. It's a riot isn't going to get us isn't going to help our cause at all. We will just look like a bunch of marauding smokers, and it gives government reason to not listen to our demands. Okay, so can we be arrested for protesting? They can try. Okay, let's be honest. They can try. They can use it as an intimidation tactic. If you are scared of being arrested, my advice to you is stay home. Rather check in online. But somebody said to me the other day, they said, "Oh, no, my family's scared that I'm going to get arrested." And I said, "Well, that's fine. Right, let me be the one that is arrested. You just stay out of reach of the police. Let me get arrested. I'm okay with that." And this woman said, "Nobody ever changed the world by being a scaredy cat." And I couldn't argue that. I couldn't argue that in the slightest. So if you're scared of being arrested, if you're scared of being targeted by the police, then rather check in online. But if you're willing to put your safety and security on the line for a cause, come out. Okay. Like I said, there is a limit on gatherings of 50 people. If we maintain social distancing, and if we get to more than 50 people in a group, we just create two groups on either side of the venue, or move to one of the other venues in the same city. You'll notice that if you look on the Facebook group, there is about I think maybe 20 or 30 events, some in the same city. So yes, I think maybe try and keep the numbers to under 50, or claim that you're at a funeral. You're at a funeral for your nicotine habit. Okay. Will they listen if this is not a riot? Because people say they won't listen if it isn't. You know what? They're not going to. They'll find any excuse not to listen. Okay. If we don't riot, then oh no, they're not serious. If we do riot, oh no, they're rowdy, and then they are just out to cause trouble. So we're going to. Any excuse is a good excuse not to listen, not to hear our demands. So yeah, I don't know if this is, like I said earlier, I don't know if this is going to make a difference. But what have we got to lose? Are they going to stop us from smoking? They're already doing that. So what have we got to lose? All right. What happens if things turn violent? Well, that's why I'm actually I'm going to be notifying the police of where we will be demonstrating. We will distance ourselves from any violence, and we will ask our demonstrators to do the same. If there is any sort of violence, distance yourself. Hand the people who are rioting and looting, point the police in their direction. I know it sounds counterintuitive to rat on your own demonstrators. But this is not about a violent protest. We are wanting to make change, not break shit. That's the idea. We don't want a country in going up in smoke. We just want our government to consider our points of view. There was a wonderful article, I think it was on the Daily Maverick, yesterday, where the journalist puts down exactly what I've been saying for weeks, if not months. If you join our Facebook group, Smokers Protest, I will drop a link to that article into a post there after we're done here. It's exactly what the government needs to answer. It's a well-written article putting out exactly how wrong government is in their approach to the smoking ban. Okay. What do you think we will do if the demands are not met? That's a tough question. There's a chance that government will just ignore us as they have been. It's not like we aren't used to them ignoring us until now. So there's a good chance that we will be ignored. But that's why I want to engage with the public and go, okay, fine. Where do we go from here? Do we start our own political party to challenge the next election? Do we need to get a voice in Parliament to make our case heard? I'm very big on engaging with our supporters, so I think we need to cross that bridge when we get to it. See government's response to our demands. All right. I just want to see yes, looking at the comments here, that's an excellent idea. Show that our peaceful protest with social distancing and masks means we're responsible enough to not share smokes. That's exactly it. We are adults, okay? Our smoking laws demand that that we are over the age of 18 to be able to purchase cigarettes. Now, okay, I'm not denying that there are underage smokers. Okay, I have met kids aged 11 who are people who started smoking at the age of 11. There is underage smoking, but to smoke legally, you need to be 18 years old. That is, you're old enough to drink, you're old enough to smoke, you're old enough to vote, you're old enough to have sex. So we are adults, and we need to show the government that we are responsible. They think that we are this irresponsible, illogical bunch of imbeciles, and that's something we desperately need to show them. Listen, we are not. Let us prove to you that we can be responsible. So yes. Do I have any rights if I get thrown in jail? Well, yes, you have the right to remain silent. Okay. You need to provide your name and your physical address when you're arrested. Okay. Other than that, that's all you need to provide. Like I said, I don't think that anybody is going to be arrested for taking part in this protest, provided we don't antagonize the police. We don't want to cause trouble, and if we keep our numbers to below the threshold, there's no reason for them to want to arrest us. We're allowed to protest. If you are arrested, I will be dishing out my personal cell phone number. You can get hold of me, and I will make and I will then find someone in your city to assist you. All right. I'll do that during the course of the week. Are there any other questions? I think that is it. Wait, one moment. All right. Okay. Yes. What must I wear to the protest? We're wanting everybody to come with black armbands. So you basically just a black material armband, worn on your bicep. That's to basically indicate to remember someone who lost their lives, or a business that had to close down, people who lost their livelihood because of the protest. So wear your armband in memory of that. Bring your placards. Okay. One thing we do want to do is we want to draw attention to the amount of people that committed suicide due to the smoking ban, because the stress and the depression got too much. We want to draw attention to this. So get your name, get the name of the person up on a placard and say, you know what, this person lost his or her life due to the smoking ban. Does government actually care? Because that's how it actually feels at the moment, is that government is so busy focusing on the big picture that they're forgetting about the individuals. Now, I understand that one person out of 57.7 million people is nothing, but 2, 1, 2, 10, 50 people of that 57.7 million, that one person who died was everything. And that's what government seems to be forgetting. So yes, wear your black armbands. Masks are essential. Do not arrive without a mask, because that is just, it's irresponsible. Okay, bring hand sanitizer. Okay, and sanitize your hands. Don't touch your face. Don't touch your nose, mouth, whatever. And make sure that you have your hand sanitizer on you. We need to show that we are responsible. As okay, it's a company account, Cyber Incident Solutions. As they said, it needs to be. We need to show them that we are responsible. So make sure that you have your personal protective equipment, and then have your billboards, have your armband, and just make sure that you are dressed appropriately. We don't need anybody catching the flu because it is winter. Okay, so but we're also not going to be there for very long. I will be live streaming. I'm going to be at the union buildings, and I will be live streaming from there. So you can catch me on YouTube and Facebook Live, and hopefully Twitter as well. So yes, we will be broadcasting live, And it's basically just the case of arrive, assemble, stand there for an hour, glaring at the building that you're in front of, and then dispersing. All right. So that's basically how the protest is the format the protest is going to take. If there are any more questions, feel free to join the Facebook group. I'll give you the link again. It's facebook.com/groups/smokers protest. Join the Facebook group, drop the questions there, and I will respond to them in text. Okay. Thank you very much for those who joined, and we will see you on Saturday. Excellent.